It looks like the UFC could potentially be heading to Hawaii next year, and obviously Max Holloway, one of the Hawaiian fighters, would stand to main event one of those fight night cards, more than likely. Also, fighters like Dan Ige hail from that region of the world, Hawaii down there. There's also some other fighters that the UFC has. So, we'll see what happens. And Max Holloway had a thought on what just might be a great matchup for him next, maybe in Hawaii. He says this: if that fight was ever offered to me, brother, it'd be an honor to share the octagon with you, bro. You're a beast. That was Max Holloway speaking about Charles Oliveira, who is the co-main event at UFC 309 this weekend. Max Holloway obviously coming off of that loss to Ilia Topuria last month at UFC 308. Charles Oliveira, win or lose, could be taking on Max Holloway in his next fight. Very proud Hawaiian down there, Max Holloway is. Let's see what the media had to offer.
Nearly 10 years after negotiations for a UFC event in Hawaii was delivered a knockout due to a reported multi-million-dollar price tag, the organization and the state are once again in ongoing talks. That's confirmed by both the UFC and the state sports task force.
So the UFC and Hawaii have always had this difficult relationship because it's very expensive to put on events down there. Is it really worth it to travel all that way, make all those purchases, expend all those resources, spend all that money? Well, the UFC's had an issue with that, and now we might be finally coming to some sort of resolution,
which is under the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism. Now, certainly a potential fight card would center around future Hall of Famer Max Holloway at Simplify Arena. But again, we've been through this before, so the obvious question is, what makes this time different?
This time is different because we have the full-fledged support of the state this time around. Governor Green.
We know that MMA is still being regulated in some places. New York was one of the recent places. Less than a decade ago, New York even was allowing MMA, and now Hawaii, obviously, there's more support around there. There's guys like BJ Penn that have been speaking publicly about the popularity of MMA and how it's not so dangerous of a sport and it should be sanctioned. And there's places that are now sanctioning old pride rules here in America. Bare knuckle, obviously, power slap's a thing. Like, these things have to be regulated and allowed in certain places. Some places don't like it, some places do.
And Department of Business and Economic Development and Tourism Director Jimmy Tokioka are strong proponents of sporting events being brought to Hawaii. Not only is it an economic boon, it's great publicity for Hawaii. It uplifts the entire state, and this would be a perfect event to bring to our home state if we can pull it off.
The UFC coming to town is a big promotional tool. All the fighters, it's not like other sports where everybody's locked down in the stadium. All the NFL players eat, sleep, train in the same place. This is unlike any other sport, and when these fighters get to go out and experience environment around them, experience the city around them, wherever they're traveling to, that brings a lot of pop and publicity, shows and spotlights, local spots to eat, local spots for entertainment. This is what happens when the UFC comes to town. People are hanging out. These fighters are putting this stuff out there on their own social medias. Like, there's all kinds of buzz that comes with having a UFC fight night come to town.
Now, how would you describe how these negotiations have gone thus far? Who have you been talking to, and where do we stand right now?
I've been in ongoing discussions, including in-person meetings with UFC, including Hunter Campbell, one of the top executives at UFC, at his office on several occasions over the past year, and they've been very productive. They're very interested in having an event here in Hawaii. It's a matter of the timing, when to have it, how it fits in with the rest of UFC's schedule, and frankly, whether it makes economic sense for all parties involved. We're very hopeful that this time will be different and we can land an event here in Hawaii headlined by Max.
That would be a huge deal, as they mentioned. Max Holloway being the main event. Get guys like Dan Ige on there. Come on, let's make it happen. This would be a big-time fight. It would be fun to go back there. Bellator goes there like once a year. UFC, you got to get in the market. Get these guys going. Broom. Get some UFC boom going in down there, Hit them with the boom, you know what I mean? So what do you guys think about all this? Do you think Max Holloway could be taking on Charles Oliveira in his next matchup? And could it be in Hawaii? That would be huge news. So let me know what you guys think about all that in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.